The 85 Bears, the undefeated Dolphins, the Belichick-Brady dynasty, some of the most memorable teams to ever step foot on the gridiron, but when you go through the long history of the NFL, there are plenty of great squads that have been lost in the shuffle. We have some electrifying offenses, dominant defenses, and storybook seasons to cover, so strap in. These are the top 10 greatest teams you forgot about.
Direct shot to Ronnie Brown. He hands to Ricky Williams. There he goes. He's going all the way.
We start our countdown with a snap out of the Wildcat. The 2008 Miami Dolphins are one of the craziest worst of first stories in NFL history, wearing their underdog status proudly on their sleeve. Just the year before, the Fins went a league worst 1-15 after hiring first-time head coach Tony Sparano and signing New York Jet castoff Chad Pennington. Expectations remained at an all-time low, but during a Week 3 matchup in Foxborough, a creative new formation put the league on notice.
We're looking at three tailbacks in here right now. Have I got this right?
Ronnie Brown untouched for the touchdown. Again, Ronnie Brown looking to throw it. Brown, touchdown, Anthony Fasano. And now Miami sends Pennington out to the perimeter again, and it's Ronnie Brown. And they continue to gash the Patriots. Ronnie Brown is gone. Touchdown, Dolphins.
Ronnie Brown ran for 4 touchdowns and threw for another, a stat line that hadn't been seen since 1923. The backfield tandem of Brown and Ricky Williams combined for over 1,500 yards on the ground, all while the aforementioned Pennington was having a career resurgence.
Ronnie Brown, flea flicker, back to Pennington, goes deep. Double covered is Ginn, and he caught it. Touchdown!
Pennington won Comeback Player of the Year and finished second in MVP voting. He helped the Fins clinch the division by stomping out his former squad in Week 17. Miami finished the year 11-5 and was the only non-Patriot team to win the AFC East between 2003 and 2019. Some quick trivia for you. Which team allowed the fewest points per game in the Super Bowl era? 1985 Bears? Nope. 2000 Ravens? In a 16-game season, yes, but not overall. That distinction would go to none other than the 1977 Falcons, the Grits Blitz.
The Falcon defense. Not only did they give up the fewest points in the NFL, but they also led their conference in interceptions and pass defense, and set a new team record for sacks of the quarterback.
Looking up and down this defensive roster, you're not going to find many household names. Hall of Fame D-end Claude Humphrey headlines the unit, but how about All-Pro corner Roland Lawrence? Middle linebacker Ralph Ortega? Jeff Marrow? Yeah, this team didn't wow you with star power, but what they lacked in stars, they made up for in getting to the quarterback. They sent the house every snap to do so.
The Grits Blitz who run an 8-man blitz 4 downs in a row. That wouldn't happen in today's football. Everybody's scared.
Atlanta forced 48 turnovers in those 14 games, second most in the league. So how does a unit allowing 9.2 points per game become lost in history? You don't have to look far, just turn your attention to the other side of the ball. Atlanta's 25th ranked offense couldn't get out of its own way. Quarterbacks Steve Bartkowski and Scott Hunter combined to throw 7 touchdowns to 16 interceptions, and their rushing attack ranked third to last in yards per rush. Despite holding teams to single digits on average, Atlanta finished 7-7, missing the playoffs entirely. Offensive woes aside, there is no diminishing what the defense was able to accomplish, well deserving of a spot in the top 10.
Bench. He fumbles, lost the football.
He's gone. Green's gone.
Kevin Green will go all the way.
In 1996, the Panthers put together a miraculous season, reaching the NFC Championship game in only their second year of existence. Carolina was written off at season start, projected at 5 wins by Vegas bookmakers. In home games alone, the team went 8-0.
Fires. It's intercepted. The Panthers let hit the ball. It is ruled a touchback on an interception. Carolina carries the day with its defense.
Offensively, the top 10 scoring unit was headlined by 24-year-old Kerry Collins. He reached the Pro Bowl alongside tight end Wesley Walls, whose 10 touchdowns tied for the league high at the position.
Collins just 2 of his last 6. Wesley Walls.
What a catch!
His second touchdown today.
Defense, however, is where the team shined. 37-year-old Sam Mills anchored the middle of the field, while Kevin Green and Lamar Lathan were the top 2 NFL sack leaders. Add in Pro Bowl cornerback Eric Davis, and you got a defense that ranked second in points allowed. In order to win their first ever playoff game, Dom Capers' group had to take down Dallas, the team of the decade.
And the pass is intercepted. Pat Terrell comes up with the interception, and Terrell down the sideline, knocked out of bounds.
Count by Aikman, back to pass from his own 7. Puts it up down the middle of the field. Intercepted by Sam Mills. He was going to take a knee and keeps going to the 10. Mills to the 5. Still going towards the end zone.
Oh, he got to the 1.
He got to the 1-yard line. Sam Mills with the icing on the cake.
Carolina picked off Troy Aikman 3 times, winning 26-17. A loss to the eventual Super Bowl champion Packers ended their Cinderella run, yet they left a lasting mark in the city of Charlotte. We have plenty of teams that just missed the top 10, but we assure you they won't be forgotten any longer.
Back to throw, Everett sets, fires up the right side for Flipper Anderson. Caught for the touchdown, and the Rams win it. Flipper Anderson beat the coverage up the sideline and caught it.
While the NFC West was headlined by the 49ers in the late 80s, they weren't the only dynamic offense in the division. The 1989 Rams were the league's second-ranked scoring offense, carving up teams through the air and on the ground. Greg Bell led the league in rushing touchdowns, and Jim Everett paced all QBs in passing touchdowns.
Everett for Anderson, touchdown!
Receiver Flipper Anderson's 336 receiving yards broke the single-game record in Week 12. Los Angeles went 11-5 and even reached the NFC Championship game, but were once again taken down by San Francisco.
Humphreys goes long. Has a man, Martin. Touchdown! Oh, my!
It's the closest the Chargers have ever come to winning a Super Bowl. San Diego got hot at the perfect time, riding the momentum with QB Stan Humphries and 245-pound bruiser Natron Means. Junior Seau and Leslie O'Neal were the stars on defense, anchoring a top 10 scoring unit. You wouldn't have known it if you saw the Super Bowl, though. 6 Steve Young passing touchdowns later, the 49ers gave them a big game beatdown that greatly stained their legacy.
As for Burt Jones, Joe Namath said, "If you asked me to pick the number 1 quarterback in the league, I'd pick Burt Jones. Who else?"
The post-Johnny Unitas Colts had their fair share of ups and downs, but in 1976, there was real hope for the future. Burt Jones won league MVP, and Baltimore had the top offense in football. Running back Lydell Mitchell had over 1,700 yards from scrimmage, and Roger Carr topped the NFL in receiving. Despite their 11-3 record, the Colts were no match for Pittsburgh in the playoffs. A 40-14 thrashing sent them home in the divisional round.
Half remaining in the third quarter. The Oilers 6 yards away from a tie. It is Renfroe. Touchdown! Or is it?
The Oilers' 1979 season ended in a cloud of anger and controversy. It looked like Mike Renfroe was in bounds, but alas, Houston was upended by Pittsburgh in the AFC Championship for the second straight year. But up to that point, fans got to witness one of the most entertaining teams of its time. This Houston squad had it all. Bum Phillips in his signature cowboy hat, the iconic Astrodome with its accompanying AstroTurf, and an athletic specimen at running back. Earl Campbell put together a monster rookie season and came back even better in 1979, nearly 1,700 yards on the ground and 19 touchdowns, both league highs.
Third down, less than 2. Campbell, first down and more. 50, 40, 30, 20. Touchdown, Houston!
On defense, Elvin Bethea, Curly Culp, and Robert Brazile each found their way into the Hall of Fame. DB Mike Renfeld picked off 12 passes, most in the league, but it was safety Vernon Perry who stole the show in their divisional round clash with the Air Coryell Chargers.
And bounce to the air. Good protection. Throwing deep for Jefferson. Intercepted. Vernon Perry looking at 3rd and 9. Down the middle for Joyner. Intercepted. Vernon Perry. Houston leads 17-14. Intercepted by the omnipresent Vernon Perry.
Perry's 4 interceptions and blocked field goal proved to be the difference in their 17-14 victory. Did we mention Houston was without Campbell, quarterback Dan Pastorini, and leading receiver Ken Burrow? Mike Renfro's controversial no catch ultimately sent the Oilers home prematurely, but it doesn't take anything away from the magical season Bum and the crew manufactured.
Quick to Randy Moss, and he's going to get by almost everybody. In fact, he gets by everybody and goes into the end zone for a touchdown.
We all remember the video game highlights the Vikings brought us in 1998, but many are quick to forget the repeat of fireworks in 2000. Dante Culpepper took over for Randall Cunningham, and he kept the deep ball alive and well in Minneapolis.
Culpepper looking for Moss. Deep downfield, up they go, and he's got a touchdown! Unbelievable.
Culpepper led the league in touchdown passes in only his second NFL season, with Randy Moss and Chris Carter accounting for 24 of his 33 scores. Don't sleep on Robert Smith out of the backfield either. During his farewell season, he ran for over 1,500 yards, a career high.
Smith slips a tackle into the secondary. Robert Smith. 40, 30, got a block. Touchdown.
Minnesota jumped out to an 11-2 start, but the wheels were quick to fall off down the stretch. There was less to be excited about on defense. John Randall was now 33, and the over-the-hill unit ranked 28th overall. The Vikes torched New Orleans in the divisional round, but their struggling defense caught up to them. The Giants routed them 41-0 in the NFC Championship game. The sequel to the '98 team didn't quite reach the same peaks, but remains underappreciated all the same.
Take it to High. And again it's intercepted. And again it's a touchdown by Matthew.
The most recent team to crack the list, the 2015 Cardinals, put together one of the greatest seasons in the franchise's long but uneventful history. Similar to 2008, Arizona was led by a quarterback cast off by other franchises. Carson Palmer was on the last leg of his career and had a career renaissance in the desert. In his most productive campaign to date, the vet tossed 35 touchdowns, finishing second in MVP voting.
Of the division lead, they're coming after Palmer, who steps away from the heat, and on the run he finds John Brown. Gets out of a tackle from Munderland, and he's going to take it to the end zone for the touchdown.
Arizona boasted a top 5 offense and defense with a balanced mix of proven veterans and rising young stars. Larry Fitzgerald, Michael Floyd, and John Brown combined for over 3,000 receiving yards. Rookie David Johnson and the aging CJ 2K recorded the majority of touches out of the backfield. Defensively, Patrick Peterson and Tyrann Mathieu were both all-pros, while Calais Campbell anchored the D-line. Arizona finished the season with a plus 176-point differential and a 13-3 record.
Palmer takes the snap, play action pass. Palmer setting up, he's in trouble, he's hit, gets out of there, rolls right, throws back to the left, Pitts is wide open, caught at the 35, nobody's there. He's at the 40, at the 50, turns upfield at the 45, at the 40, 35, 25, stiff arms 30, 25-20, Fitz to the near side 10, to the 5 and tackled there. Snap to Palmer, rolls out, and it's a pitch to Fitz, running straight ahead into the end zone. The shovel pass for the touchdown to the win. The Cardinals advance to the NFC Championship game in one of the craziest games ever.
The heroics of Larry Fitzgerald in the divisional round was the highlight of their season, so why is this team never talked about? Well, maybe because Cam Newton and the Panthers were taking the spotlight, and rightfully so. Carolina was a powerhouse in 2015, shellacking the Cards in the NFC title game.
Quick slant, Mathis, his first catch of the day. That might go for 6. Mathis, touchdown Atlanta.
Having 3 1,000-yard receivers is a feat rarely accomplished, but the 1995 Falcons had just that, with Jeff George slinging the rock. Eric Metcalf, Burt Emanuel, and Terrence Mathis each broke the threshold.
Today, 3rd down and 3. Pass complete, Eric Metcalf, and he is all alone. Touchdown, Atlanta.
The gaudy passing numbers weren't empty calories either. Atlanta reached the playoffs on the back of their receiving core, perfecting the June Jones run-and-shoot offense. The ground game got its share too, 1,400 total yards from Craig Ironhead Hayward.
Come those injuries. 2nd down and 8. Here's Eddie George on a slant to the outside. Inside the 10. Cuts it back, dives to the end zone, touchdown.
Sure, we remember Tennessee's miracle run to the Super Bowl in 1999, but they were even better the next year. Eddie George ran the ball a staggering 403 times, easily the most of anyone in football. But what made the team so great was their defense. The unit was first in yards allowed, even better than the world-renowned 2000 Ravens.
And Johnson throws, and that is picked off at the 19-yard line.
Tennessee allowed the 3rd fewest points of any team in history during a 16-game season, but Baltimore got the last laugh in a year-long rivalry, with the Titans fading into obscurity.
Grogan on a draw to Ivory inside the 20, inside the 15, inside the 10, and he's all the way down to the Miami end zone for a touchdown. Horace Ivory, a brilliant 23-yard touchdown run.
Did you know the 1978 Patriots ran for 3,000 yards in a season? More impressive, they did so without having a single 1,000-yard rusher, with guard John Hanna paving lanes. Andy Johnson, Horace Ivory, Steve Grogan, and Sam Bam Cunningham each went for over 500 yards. Not exactly the million-dollar backfield. Hall of Fame corner Mike Haynes led a top 10 defense, and New England went 11-5. Our next team also revolved around the run game, but parlayed it with a playoff win over the team of the decade.
Coming after Grady, gets it away, he's picked. He's picked in the end zone. It's Bailey. Bailey taken off, and he gets away from the one man who had a shot at him. Talk about a game changer, Bailey, and they're going to rule him down at the 1.
The Broncos of the 2000s have become a lost era in franchise history. Post-Elway and pre-Manning, this group was instead led by Jake Plummer, but they stayed true to Mike Shanahan's zone-run scheme with a backfield duo of Mike Anderson and Tatum Bell. Somehow the puzzle pieces fit, and Denver put together a top 5 offense.
Been checked out of it. They run with Tatum Bell. Couple of blockers, got a first down and a lot more. Race down the sideline. Tatum Bell goes in. Touchdown.
Defensively, the Broncos laid the boom with John Lynch and Al Wilson, all while superstar Champ Bailey locked down number 1 wideouts. Bailey took 2 of his 8 interceptions to the house, and Denver had the 3rd best scoring defense in the NFL. But in order to win their first playoff game since 1998, they'd have to shut down a team on the verge of a three-peat.
Play fake. Plummer now rolling to his right, throws, pass caught. Rod Smith, and Denver has got a touchdown. And the Broncos may have just said so long to the world champions. Brady loads it up, throws a deep ball. 3 Broncos back there, and John Lynch picks it off. That is the 5th turnover by the Patriots tonight.
Denver won convincingly, 27-13. By the end of his career, Jake the Snake was a sneaky 3-0 against the GOAT.
I want to move quick now. Let's be quick in that line. Let's go. Let's move. You'll be the best, and you got to pay a little price.
If you want it bad enough, you got to do a little extra things to get it.
The LA Rams of the 70s were some of the best you've never heard of. In a decade featuring Madden's Raiders, Landry's Cowboys, and the Knoll Steelers, it was tough to break through into relevancy. But Chuck Knox's Rams won the most games in the league from 1973 to 1978.
John Hadel and Harold Jackson were just beginning to fine-tune their partnership, which wrapped up San Francisco 40-20.
In 73, John Hadel and Harold Jackson were the most dynamic passing attack in all of football. The duo connected for 13 touchdowns in 14 games against the Cowboys in Week 5. Jackson had 238 yards and 4 touchdowns in the first half. The QB and receiver tied for second in MVP voting on an offense that totaled the most yards in the league. LA's defense matched that ranking as Merlin Olsen, Hacksaw Reynolds, and Jack Youngblood made opposing offenses miserable.
In Kansas City, both number 30, Lawrence McCutcheon, and number 45, Jim Bertelsen, had raced for over 100 yards, and this type of tandem terrorizing continued throughout the season.
No team scored more points, gained more yards, and allowed fewer yards in 1973. So how were they beat? How about a Dallas team hungry for revenge, beating the Rams 27-16 in the divisional round? Harold Jackson was held to just 1 catch, and Knox's squad never reached its full potential. Who remembers the Jaguars' unforgettable playoff run in 1996? In their second year of existence, Jacksonville upset the Broncos in stunning fashion on its way to the AFC Championship. 3 years later, the 1999 team was even better.
Ancient franchise. Brunell. Smith! Touchdown!
Quarterback Mark Brunell had an elite connection with the receiving tandem of Jimmy Smith and Keenan McCardle. Unlike 96, the ground game was much more productive with backs James Stewart and Fred Taylor leading the charge. But its biggest upgrade came defensively. The 19th ranked scoring defense in 1996 was now up to number 1 with 3 different players recording double-digit sacks.
171-yard difference. Marino hit from the backside. Fumble the ball.
Oh, Lord, Jacksonville has it. And this ball is live. This is still live.
Tony Brackens.
They haven't blown a whistle yet.
No. And finally, he rumbles toward the end zone.
That's a touchdown. Oh, jeez.
The Jags finished the year 14-2. The divisional round featured their largest win in team history, a 62-7 thrashing of Miami in Dan Marino's final game. Jacksonville looked poised to get over the hump and into the Super Bowl. Nobody told the Tennessee Titans, though.
This is Mason from the 20. 35, 40. Midfield, and there he goes! 80 yards for the touchdown.
Simply put, they were the Jags' kryptonite. Tom Coughlin's team lost just 3 games all year, each one at the hands of the Titans. Tennessee's 33-14 victory in Jacksonville put a swift end to the best season in franchise history. We all remember Jameis Winston's 30-30 season, but back in 1983, Packers quarterback Lynn Dickey was 1 pick away from being the first member of the club. Dickey led the league in both passing yards and touchdowns, and his favorite target, James Lofton, put up 1,300 yards and 8 scores.
Back in the got the blitz on. He fires it up to Lofton. He caught it at the 45. Midfield, he might be gone. 40, 35, 30. They'll never catch it. 20, 15, 10, 5, and a touchdown.
Combine Green Bay's second-ranked offense with a defense that let up more yards than any team in the NFL, and you've got some chaotic games on your hands. Take their 48-47 win against Washington, for example, which was the highest-scoring Monday Night Football game ever at the time. But the madness just wasn't sustainable as the Pack finished 8-8, missing the playoffs.
The handoff goes to Dorsett, dances in the secondary and heads left. The 30 comes right. Tony Dorsett, 84 yards on the touchdown.
Let's stay in 1983, where the Dallas Cowboys of all franchises have a team you may have forgotten about. Tony Dorsett was in his prime, tallying over 1,300 rushing yards. Danny White threw for 29 scores, and Dallas finished the year with the second highest scoring offense in NFL history at the time. The first? Washington in the exact same season. Talk about someone stealing your thunder. Dallas finished the year 12-4, and Tom Landry was back in the playoffs for the 17th time in the last 18 seasons. No wins for them in the postseason, though, while Washington made it all the way to the Super Bowl.
Too legit to quit!
Too legit to quit indeed. The 1991 Falcons brought an unmatched swagger to the NFL, headlined by Deion Sanders and head coach Jerry Glanville. Whether it was MC Hammer on the sideline or the duck walk celebration in the end zone, this team worked hard and played even harder.
6, Craig in the offense, throwing out of his own end zone and going for the bundle, looking for Brian Blades. It's up for grabs. Machias with the interception. Hands it off to Sanders on the lateral. Sanders on his way, may go all the way. Only Craig, he's in. Touchdown Atlanta.
Atlanta's red gun offense was built around the deep ball, resulting in a top 5 scoring offense led by wideout Andre Rison. No team had more fun, well, until they ran into our number 1 forgotten team in the playoffs.
Miller looks deep. Hit, intercepted.
And Chafee. Fumble.
Intercepted.
How is it possible that a 14-2 Super Bowl champion with a higher scoring differential than the '85 Bears is never talked about? We wish we had an answer for you, but this is the case with the 1991 Washington Redskins. This was their 3rd Super Bowl team in a 10-year span, and by far their best. The number 1 scoring offense and number 2 scoring defense, Joe Gibbs' squad was an unstoppable force and a movable object.
He laughed when he hits me. I know it's tough.
Pass is intercepted by Darrell Green, and Darrell Green will score for Washington. Ware picked off by Darrell Green.
Their offense was led by Mark Rippon, who had become a footnote among Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. All he did was finish top 5 in MVP voting, and his top 2 targets, Gary Clark and Art Monk, both broke 1,000 yards on the year. Running back Ernest Biner is still only remembered for his infamous fumble against the Broncos, yet he earned Pro Bowl honors as the lead back.
Biner. And Biner scored!
Washington's defense shut out opponents on 3 separate occasions. Charles Mann, Wilbur Marshall, and Darrell Green were all named to an All-Pro team. In the playoffs, Washington outscored opponents 102-41, including a 37-24 win over the Bills in Super Bowl 26. The final scoreboard was deceptive compared to the stomping they put on.
Rippon is back to throw it, going deep. Touchdown, Redskins, Clark.
Nevertheless, the '91 Redskins are rarely mentioned when discussing the greatest teams in NFL history, a plus 261 scoring differential. Not only are they due more respect, but are definitively one of the most dominant champions of the Super Bowl era.